When you live a day at a time, and when you also know you are living on the edge, anything can happen, and any moment your life can be extinguished. Then you value every day of the life, and then you want to give your best. You want to make sure that whatever you want to achieve on that day, you do it with all your spirit, compassion. You give it all your 100%. And when your time is short, you want to achieve more and more things so that you know the time is running out. Therefore, let me do my best and give it the best shot.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hero's Journey webinar today. I'm Kiva from Coacharya, and it's lovely to have you all join us today. Do take a couple of seconds to share with us where you're joining us from. You could use the chat box here. Share a quick hello. So it'll be nice to know who's joining, where you're joining us from. Hi, Yamini. Yamini is from Team Coacharya, and she's the chat moderator. So if you have any questions, anything, any links you'd like Yamini to share, she'll be the right person. Hi, Tarun. Nice to have you here. Hello, Ashok. Hi, Jorim. Hello. So we have people from India, Delhi, Chennai, Spain, UK. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Bhavin. Hello, Geeta. Hello, everyone. A mixed crowd, people from different parts of the world. So I'm going to just take a minute to share with you all just two updates from our end before I invite our guests today and share details about the webinar. So I'm going to just share my screen with you all. A lot of participants who join us ask us for details regarding the CCEUs. So we thought we'll use this opportunity to let you all know all the details about CCEUs. So as you know, we have 3 webinar series. We have the Future of Coaching that happens on the second Wednesdays of each month. We have the Hero's Journey webinar that happens on the third Wednesday. That's today. And we have the Masters in Coaching that happens on the fourth Wednesday. So for each of these webinars, for attending the webinar for 60 sessions, you can either claim a resource development certificate or a coaching credential. So from our series, you can get coaching credentials for attending the Masters in Coaching webinar, and you can claim RDs, 1 RD each for Future of Coaching or Hero's Journey. So what are the steps to avail the certificate? You have to attend the full webinar. You will receive an email from our team to claim the certificate. And then there is a link that's on the email. So when you click on that and you fill out a survey, you can then go ahead and download the certificate. If you're wondering what you can do with these certificates, as many of you might already know, that you can use these at the time of renewing your credential. So you can accumulate these and then use them at that time. If you are looking for more resource development certificates, we are also organizing thought leadership discussions, and these are free of cost as well. These happen 3 times in a month, and Yamini will be able to share some details about those in the chat box with you all. I'm also going to just take a few more seconds to share with you all details regarding some upcoming courses in July. And once again, I'm going to request Yamini to share the details with everybody. So I hope you can see my screen. So in August, we have 3 courses lined up. The first is a Coacharya Coach Supervision Program. So that is for a coach who's already an ACC, PCC, or MCC. Yamini will share all the details about this in the chat box, and you can also write to us at contact@coacharya.com for the details. On the 19th, we have a coaching foundation course with Prakash Rao, a master certified coach. So this is for people who haven't started their coaching journey yet. And if you want to get started, then this would be the right program for you. For people who've already completed either their coach training for ACC or have got the ACC credential and want to now move towards preparing for their PCC, we have the advanced coaching program starting on the 24th with Cindy. So that's it from my end. And those are all the details about the programs. Yamini will again share all the details with you. Okay, so now coming back to the webinar today, and I'd like to welcome our guest, Mr. Verghese Jacob, and also our host, Avril. If you could join us. Thank you, Avril. All right.
Hello,
So
everyone.
lovely to have you here with us, Mr. Verghese. I'm going to just take a couple of minutes to share with the audience a little about this webinar series, and then I'm going to hand it over to the two of you.
Thank you.
So the webinar today is the hero's journey with Mr. Verghese Jacob, and we're going to be exploring what leadership of the heart and the mind really look like. And who better to actually explore this with than Mr. Verghese Jacob. He has had an exemplary journey through his career, both in the corporate space and in the social development space. He's an electronics engineer with an MBA from XLRI Jamshedpur. Mr. Verghese has worked for over 4 decades. He's mastered both the corporate and the social domains, like I shared with you, from pivotal roles at Godrej, including head of marketing, machine tools division, to the CEO of a joint venture. Mr. Verghese's work has made tremendous impact in diverse realms. Transitioning to the social sector, he guided foundations and enterprises, and at present, he serves as a director, mentor, and active contributor to CSR programs. So thank you so much, Mr. Verghese, for joining us. I'm going to now welcome Avril, the host of the Hero's Journey webinar, to take over from here.
Thank you, Kiva. Thank you so much. Welcome, Mr. Verghese. This is such an honor. You're welcome. This is such an honor for me to do this with you today, because I'm at the start of it, I must say that I'm a fan, and a fan because not just because of your eclectic career, but because of the person that you are. And I'm so joyful to share you with my community. So let me quickly welcome all my fellow coaches. Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you for tuning in from so many different parts of the world and from so many different parts of our wonderful country. Happy Independence Day for yesterday. And, I think freedom is something that we take for granted. And I think it's wonderful to live in a free country, isn't it? And it's wonderful for us to have freedom and freedom to meet and to talk about things and to discuss things and to have wonderful guests like Mr. Verghese. So before I don't want to waste any more time. So let me go ahead. So if you see me looking up there, it's because my questions are pinned there, because sometimes technology fails me and I'm happy to just have one computer and an A4 size sheet on which my questions are. So for those of you who got the invite, Mr. Verghese's resume is too long to mention, and also you'll take very long to go through it, because as you read one thing about Mr. Verghese and you think, oh, wow, then you read another and it's like, oh, wow, and then it's the third. So, you may take extra time because he's a man of many skills and many talents. So let me just jump into my first question. And I would like to ask you, Mr. Verghese, you transitioned from an electronics engineer to an MBA in marketing and finance, and then into diverse roles in corporate and social sectors. So can you tell us, how have these multidisciplinary experiences shaped your perspective on leadership, especially in the social domain?
Thank you, Avril. Thanks for the wonderful words of welcome. My life journey has been probably in 3 phases. The first phase for everyone is academics. All of us try to excel at academics, get into graduation, post-graduation. And the ultimate aim of that is to get into a job, and a good job, a good career. So I followed the same route. So switching from engineering to MBA was easy. I didn't like engineering too much. So I was looking for an exit into something more broader and not too specialized. And management came as a wonderful ally in doing that. But when I finished management and I got into corporate life, I realized you can't run away from specializing. Whatever you do, whatever you want to excel, you have to know the nuts and bolts of it well. Of course, the large picture is given by the management perspective, more at the strategic level. But at the doing level, at the operational excellence level, you need to know your details, without which, so which means every assignment I did, I learned on the job and learned every day, worked very hard for it. And in Godrej, I was very fortunate. I was given diverse assignments over a period of 20 years. I must have done about 12 assignments. The longest one was 3 years, and the shortest one was probably 6 months. So I was job rotated from sales to marketing to manufacturing to heading a division, heading a function, the whole HR for the group company, then a head of joint venture. So there was very little I did not learn on the job, and Godrej had been very kind to me that way. And then when my shift to social sector happened, that was primarily because of my health reasons. I realized my time may be running out. So I wanted to contribute to a larger cause. And that's how I joined the social sector in the early 2000s. So there I realized, again, it's a great learning experience. None of what I had learned or practiced in corporate life had gone away. In fact, I felt it was a huge opportunity to practice and make a difference to the lives of people. So when you do the same thing in corporate life, you are probably, enhancing the wealth of the company or a few shareholders or increasing your sales. That's a routine stuff that every company does, and you also benefit as an employee in the bargain. But your perspective is limited. You're still operating in the first two rungs of the Maslow's hierarchy. Mostly it is security needs, esteem needs, that sort of level. But the minute you start doing social work, you realize that you're serving others. And there are so many people, deserving people to be served. And your commitment, your passion, and your knowledge of management practices, and also combine that with technology enablers, you can make a huge difference. So for the same limited money that social sector has, if you bring these tremendous value multipliers like management practices and technology enablers into managing NGOs, the difference you make or the impact you make is multifold. So that's been my experience. So the more multifunctional experience I had, I could give back to society. And that's a great opportunity I got in social sector.
Thank you so much for explaining that so well. So I think the multiplier effect is something that I picked up on in terms of making a difference in the social sector, because I think having intent is great, but having the wherewithal and the bandwidth and the social and emotional intelligence and the skill set to actually bring everything onto the table and make sense out of it and make it into something of a constructive framework is also important, because it's not, nothing can happen ad hoc. So I think your skills in so many different disciplines is something that also has kind of held you in good stead in the social domain.
Absolutely. And here, of course, in the corporate sector, you're more attuned to efficiency, large volumes, getting people to do the organizational objectives correctly. But the IQ and the financial resources are tuned towards that. But here, there is a huge empathy factor, and the EQ level comes into play in a big way. So you are using your heart and mind much more than physical efficiencies or multiplier efficiencies associated with normal scaling of operations. So, and the social sector has been yearning for this sort of changes because they can't afford to buy these practices or buy even technology. For them, resources are limited. So if you're willing to give that free to the social sector, their impact is much larger and it's a very deserving cause.
Thank you, Mr. Verghese. So this leads me to my next question. So you're very, very closely involved with the Bairaju Foundation and with their expansive rural initiatives impacting over 2 million people. That's a lot of people. What were some of those pivotal moments or challenges that really solidified your commitment to rural transformation?
For me, after 99, I was very clear I wanted to get into the social sector. And I was looking for a suitable opening. At one point of time, when I was working in corporate life, I even thought maybe I'll retire early and do some small social work on my own back in my state, Kerala. That was my small dream. But when my time was running out, I realized I cannot wait for my corporate career to end. I need to start this journey earlier than later. And that's what pushed me into the sector, or I was glad I went in there at the age of 46. So since the early 2000, I've been working in the sector. And why rural development again was, Bairaju Foundation was an organization dedicated to rural development. And the numbers justified that much more because at that time, 45% of India's population was still living under poverty line. You won't believe it. This is in 2000. We had more than 65 crores of people living under $1 a day income. This was the state of affairs. Of course, now things have improved drastically. Still, we have more than 23 crores of people living under $2 a day. But the stark fact was, none of the prosperity that we were showing in our urban areas had filtered down to the rural areas. And people were just migrating to the cities, hoping that they will earn something more. But their quality of life was still abysmal.
Yeah.
And there was stark poverty, including starvation. There were many homes in Andhra villages itself. I saw were only having one meal a day. So whenever we adopted villages, we adopted 200 villages. One of the criteria was at least out of 5,000 population village, about 3,000 people should be literally under poverty line so that we can make a big impact and improve their economic plight as well as the social other parameters of social development. So there was a huge opportunity, and India also housed. Even today, we have the dubious statistics of housing the maximum number of poor across the world, because out of 8 billion people, 1 billion are still living under $2 a day. So for them, out of that, almost 20% of the people are in India, in one country. So we are still a sort of poverty capital of the world, which we can certainly improve if everyone has awareness of this and is willing to pool in their resources to make sure that every family comes out of this poverty trap. It is not, then the other unfortunate part is it's not because there's shortage of money. There was a little shortage of money probably by 2010 or whatever. Today, there are enough government schemes supporting rural development and poverty eradication. But unfortunately, it does not reach the last mile. 30% of the people are still not getting all the benefits they deserve or the free schemes they are entitled to. There are blockers in the way by way of corruption, inefficiency, lack of accountability. And surely, therefore, government alone can't do this job. And which is why there are other players, including corporates, NGOs, the community itself. All of them have to go into it in a big way to make sure India progresses. And the very last, the poorest person in India should become prosperous. Only then this journey ends.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Verghese, for explaining that so clearly. And like you said, I think each sector of society, especially in the urban areas, like you said, corporates, individuals, communities, each of us can do something. So, if you'd like to share with us something later where we can, as communities or as people in corporate, if we can help in any way, it just came to mind. I didn't really have this, as planned. But when you were talking about it, it just struck me. I mean, I don't think anybody is too small to make a change. His Holiness has a very funny joke, but it's so profound. So, once he was teaching us and he said, I think somebody in the audience, some foreigner or something said, "Oh, but we are too small. How can we do something? In the grander scheme of things." He was talking about something like world poverty or something, and then he very, tongue in cheek, he said, "Have you spent the night with a mosquito?" And that person didn't get it, and he said, "Spend the night with a mosquito, and then you'll know that you're never too small to make a change." So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so, so
you're
Elaine,
very right. Yeah.
so if you'd like to share something with us where we can contribute either as a community, as individuals, or as coaches, I think we'll just put it out there and people can feel free. It's not something that's compulsory, but it's something that could help. I mean, every small drop can fill an ocean, so I think it's something that can help.
Absolutely. See, let's look at it this way. I've already told you it's not about money. And
Yeah.
most of us, when we feel a little guilty, we will do some, check to
Charity.
charity.
Yeah, yeah,
And then we assume we have done our bit. But that's a very passive, more out of guilt rather than wanting to make a change. Of
yes,
course, sharing some of our wealth is always good. But if you combine on top of that little financial resources, what you give your time, you give your passion, you give your competence, you give your networks that you have, bring it to the same cause. The multiplier effect is far more.
exactly.
You get personally involved in making that change. You also see empathize with the lots of people you are touching, and also you improve the organization, you improve the project team that is working with you. You can, so therefore, each one of us individually, each one of us also in our workplaces, we don't have to compartmentalize our lives and say that work means only work, or social sector means I have to join social sector fully and work for it, or leave everything out in life and go do, social work, sannyas. We don't
Yeah,
have to do that at all. We can
yeah,
do everything parallelly. We can do it on scale. We can do it with excellence. And if we are able to, just have that commitment within us, so many hours a month I'll spare for this, for various causes, or pick one or two causes which attracts you and also connects with you for whatever reason. And then go work with the organization and work with the people in need. And your life will get transformed. Let me tell you, it's a completely different experience. Fortunately, the CSR compulsions and all are coming into the organization in the last 5 6 years. Today, also, the papers had reported 25,000 crores of money has been spent by corporates for CSR projects, which is uh,
yes,
very good scale. But imagine on top of that money, if you add the commitment of the employees of the organization, or we as individuals, or each one of us, even post retirement, I would say this is a fantastic activity to take up and keep you sort
absolutely.
of committed, working hard, at the same time giving a much larger meaning in your life.
Yes, yeah,
Social sector is the best sector. And there's so many, even for the Coacharya group, there are so many children who are out there, millions of them in rural villages or schools or colleges, or wanting to be taught the latest content, or career counseling, or
yes,
preparedness for taking up a job, or there's so many equal opportunities they lack,
absolutely.
which a city kid may have thanks
Yeah,
to his parents' wealth. But a poor child will not have that. He will not even have
yes,
the proper connectivity. So if you spare some time and using all our, just like we are connecting across the world on a virtual platform now, the same platform can be used for educating a lot of deserving children. And my experience in the last 20 years has been give a small hand of help to a deserving child uh, who doesn't have the financial or opportunity chances, he will climb to heights much more than what we would have ever imagined.
Yes.
Because that little help will make a big difference to his life. And once he gets connected to a larger opportunity, his family gets redeemed, then the community around him gets redeemed. So that's the best way we can help others. There's
Yes.
no,
Absolutely.
and it gives far more depth and meaning to our own lives.
Yeah. And it's something you said just struck me before I ask my next question. When you're kind to somebody, it passes on. I mean, if you're kind to a person, they are usually kind to somebody else, and it kind of forms a chain of kindness. And, people have compassion because, they remember the kindness of people. So we're always standing on the shoulders of giants. And, we must never forget that. So I
Yeah.
think what you said is
There's always this virtuous cycle. You
absolutely.
start with a good deed or a good word or a good thought that multiplies and that goes across the world. And you don't have to expect the same kindness to be reciprocated by the same person who
Absolutely.
gave it.
Yeah,
It will
absolutely.
come
It
back
could be
to
somebody
you.
different. Yeah,
It will come back to you
in
manifold
some way.
from
Yeah,
unknown sources. Strangers will come and give you goodwill.
kindness.
And my
Exactly.
experience has been exactly that. So never think twice about giving and never worry about whether this is a wrong cause or a wrong person. Give it with all your heart. It'll come back in great measure back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Varghese.
Welcome.
Let me go on to my next question, which is about philanthropy. So you are a Six Sigma Master Black Belt. That says a lot about your mental discipline and about how incredibly talented you are and incredibly committed you are to whatever you do. And you pioneered the Six Sigma methodologies in in the Bairaju Foundation model, right? In the rural sector model, if I'm not mistaken. I just like to ask you, how has this unique approach amplified the efficiency and the impact of your projects, especially in the realm of rural development and empowerment?
We were the first NGO in the world to
Yeah.
adopt a Six Sigma methodologies, which was new at that time. GE had already implemented it to some extent. And GE and some companies in India were having a tie-up to popularize these, the corporate world here. But not that it is rocket science. Fundamentally, Six Sigma only says that you improve your processes and your way of either manufacturing a product or offering a service and make the least number of defects or errors possible. That means you are yearning or aiming towards perfection on a daily basis, tracking how many errors are committed, trying to minimize that, analyze the root cause of that for how did that error happen? Can I improve my process too? Not to let it happen again. And that's how it's done. So all the services we ran across villages, over 40 projects we were doing, we instituted this methodology. And there were 150 teams working parallelly on a daily basis to reduce the uh, number of defects or errors. So, three defects in a million is when you achieve Six Sigma excellence. But when you start, you may have maybe 20% of your attempts at giving a service or rolling out a program, maybe not the right way, or the customer may not appreciate it, or you won't get it right. So if you are focused on doing that, it's a permanent quest for excellence. It's
Yes.
nothing else. It's a way of life, just like TQM, total quality management, or even statistical techniques. Here you combine both of it. The quest is for absolute perfection, but you combine many other tools on the way to make sure that your errors are coming down on a daily basis. And this is only one of, I wouldn't say it's a big deal for having done it first. And now most of corporates do it anyway. And there are many other quality tools available for achieving the same level of excellence. But the fact is, Bairaju Foundation was always open to pioneering many things, both in management practices and also technology. We were the first ones to introduce telemedicine in the country way back in 2002, even ahead of hospitals. We were the first ones to run rural BPOs. In 5 small villages, we started rural BPOs in 2003. We also incubated large national projects like 108, the emergency management system, 104, the health management system, which are now prevalent in more than 20 states across the country, which are all now public-private partnership projects. So the fact is, you do something innovative, combining the best of management practices at that time, along with the technology best practices. You can make a huge impact on the social sector, even when people are not paying big for it. This is a large volume, small margin game. And if the government funds it, then you can do it at a national scale, like 108 and 10.
Yes. Mr. Verghese, there's a question come up from somebody who's asking, can you please give a specific example for the Six Sigma approach? With the work that you've done, I think.
As I said, you start a process. Suppose I say that we start a call center. Any rural person can call in and ask for help or emergency or whatever. So we put a first process in place. If a call comes, in how many seconds the call should be answered, what should be the script of the call, how does it get resolved at the end of it? Did we really meet the request that he was asking on the phone? So if that is your service, serving a rural customer who is making a request on a call for a emergency situation. He wants either an ambulance or wants information about the nearest hospital or medical store or whatever. So then the whole process is tracked. How many calls are we receiving? In how many calls are we meeting all the SLAs or the service level agreements? Is the customer happy? We also do a customer satisfaction survey. So when we start, normally our customer rating itself may be only 3 out of 5. So when you perfectly do a job and keep on avoiding more and more errors that can creep up, or meet even unusual requests by going out of the way and asking for time, but within the time go back to him and solve the problem, then your service levels improve dramatically. Your ability to satisfy every customer request from say 80% goes up first to 90. Then reaching 80% is easy. 80 to 90 is a little more tougher. When you go from 90 to 95, you're literally climbing the Everest. You run out of oxygen. And when you do 95 to 99, you have to stand on your head, and everyone has to be perfect in their approach towards service. And at the same time, you keep on tightening your service level and efficiencies, etc. So you are not running the same race. You have to accelerate your services. Then the final frontier is between 98 and 99. It's almost impossible, because if you have to bring down the defects to just 3 errors when 1 million opportunities are given to you, you can imagine the scale.
Absolutely.
So if you're reaching there, you are really on top of the world. But even if you reach from 80 to 98, this experiment was considered quite successful by us, because that itself is a and these are efficiencies then which can be compared with the best corporates in the world. It's nothing to do with whether the social sector is doing it or the best company is doing it. Then with what additional resources are doing, what money you are spending. You're spending hardly anything here. So that also becomes a factor in improving efficiency. I hope I've answered the question.
Yeah, I think they said that
this is a concrete example of how Six Sigma projects are.
And there's one more question that's come in. Somebody is saying managing HR is a challenge in NGOs. Generally, monetary incentives are missing. So how do you keep up the motivation?
Very good question. Most of the time, when I started this journey, probably it was monetarily the least attractive sector to even contemplate join for a salary. So the minute you give up the concept that I'm joining here not for the salary I earn, but for the opportunity to serve
Yeah.
and the opportunity to make a big impact. Then your whole paradigm of job satisfaction and opportunity satisfaction completely changes. So that is what happened in the early 2000s. But today, the difference in salaries between corporate sector and the social sector probably is only about 30-40%. Those days, it was probably 80%.
Mm.
And some of the top jobs in the social sector are even paying better than corporate uh, jobs. For example, if you are Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, head of the country in India, probably that position may earn 5 times more than a CEO in a small firm. So
Yes.
it all depends on what you aim for and which organization you work for. But the long and short of it is you cannot motivate people with money here, because if anyone is joining here only for money, he is still stuck in that first rung of the Maslow's hierarchy.
Yes.
You need to elevate his aspirations. You need to elevate the fact that he is impacting thousands of lives, and this is an opportunity he'll never get. And you should involve his family in this. You should make sure that everyone feels joyous that he's doing a fantastic job. So there are many other motivation tools other than money you can use in the social sector, thanks to the fact that we are doing service to so many people.
Yeah. Wow, that was a great answer. I think also what's coming to mind for me is, the person has to have that passion and purpose, or, somebody has to guide him towards that,
Yes.
in case, yeah, passion and
The
purpose.
only people who have found a larger purpose in life and also willingly joining, saying that I want to serve, those people I found, when you employ, I've sort of probably interacted with more than 10,000 people in the sector, different organizations. And what connects all of us is, you can see the spark of purpose and also the willingness to go into the most deprived places, interact with people who are not having any
Yeah,
financial resources, and that commitment, to make that happen. And you find in 80-90% of the people who come into the sector. And many of them have left huge amounts of money back on the table in the corporate sector or wherever they come from, or they're willing to even give their money for the cause. And these are the stars, and they will change the world. Let me tell you, they will change the world. Whereas a guy who only worries about money or wants to serve only in the corporate life, he's climbing corporate ladders. But ultimately, if his conscience is right, in my case, it happened. After climbing all the corporate ladders, I felt the ladder itself was leaning against the wrong wall. So,
wow.
so, so then you come down and start from scratch again in the social sector, where climbing ladders is not your objective in life, but rubbing shoulders with everyone on the ground and bringing a smile on their faces. That's
Yeah.
your aim in life.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Verghese.
Yeah.
So, we've discussed your health challenges and you seem very open about them, and it shows your resilience. With your personal health challenges and combined with your motto, never say die till you really die. They're truly inspiring. And I'm just wondering if you could share with us, how have these personal adversities influenced your approach to your social initiatives and your outlook, your mission driven outlook?
I'll answer the second question first. When you live a day at a time, and when you also know you are living on the edge, anything can happen, and any moment your life can be extinguished. Then you value every day of the life, and then you want to give your best. You want to make sure that whatever you want to achieve on that day, you do it with all your spirit, compassion. You give it all your 100%. And when your time is short, you want to achieve more and more things, so that the time is running out. Therefore, let me do my best and give is the best shot. Of course, some other people, if they look at it negatively, they will see the other side of things. They will lie down to die, or they will say that, oh, this is too much for me, or, that negative thought should never enter your mind. So so it can come out of only one paradigm in your mind, that of gratitude. If you are happy with everything you get, even the challenges that come your way, and you treat them as gifts from somewhere which you have to use most optimally, then you will find this, every day I want to give my best. I don't care what happens. And the other part is, you need to accept death as a certainty.
Yeah.
Because if you are fighting death, or if you are trying to prolong your life saying that why me, and self pity, all that is futile, because all of us have to die one day. What we are not controlling is only the day and time of our exit from
Yeah.
here. It's an inevitability. We have to
Yes.
come here. There's no doubt about that. So if that's the case, might as well accept it, and then learn to appreciate every day of the life you are getting, where you can contribute. So even if you are partially healthy, there are so many things you can do to make a difference. Please continue doing it. And the other things, whatever is outside your control, if your body has genetic issues or diseases which can come without your knowing, that is something you don't have to worry about, because we can't control it anyway. What we can control then is our positive attitude, that our doctors will cure us, that the best medical facilities we have, that there's so many people, wishing you well and praying for you to come back to life. These are moments, or you have a very good supporting family, loving family, who want us to, be with them. So these all give you extra reasons to continue life. Of course, one day you'll have to go. Be prepared to go every day if the call comes. But while you still have the last breath, never say die. Keep living. And yeah.
So I just like to read out a comment from so many people sending you so many good wishes and hearts and claps and all sorts of emojis. And Suresh says, Verghese has no health challenges. He challenges all of us each day to do our very best each day. This is just who he is, as I've known him for over 30 years.
Thanks,
So,
Harish. Yeah. He's a dear friend. We have traveled a long way in our journey together, and great source of support. Thank you, Suresh. Yeah.
and Trevor says, excellent perspective and purpose and total commitment to social service. Jacob Verghese, you are an ideal example of leading with compassion and freely giving back to society. Kudos. You are truly inspirational. So
Thank
I
you.
think,
Is it Trevor D'Souza?
yes, Trevor D'Souza.
Thanks, Trevor. Trevor was with me in XLRI 1 year junior. Wonderful to hear good words and good wishes from you, Trevor.
And Tarun says, you have an excellent positivity in you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tarun.
So I just wanted to talk about coaching in the social sector. What has your experience been so far?
I think formal coaching is definitely required, because many people who come into the social sector may not have been exposed to the corporate sort of training, especially in soft skills, all that. But many of them come with a huge positive attitude and empathy levels, which are far greater than what we normally see on the streets. So training them is very easy. They have a very high willingness to be trained and motivated, and their motivation also is mostly coming from self-motivation. So they're not looking to others to reward them or incentivize them, or that's not their frame of mind. They're willing to do that extra mile to serve others. But there's a lot of need and opportunities for people to be trained. And there, the Coacharya colleagues may be of great importance and significance. Some of you can take some time, some part-time off and train people in social sector. And you can also train in a big way the beneficiaries. the school's children, the housewives, the farmers. There are plenty of knowledge and even soft skills training to be passed on to them. So there's a huge opportunity there. Also in social sector organizations, there can be structured ways of training program managers or CEOs or domain experts, because the sector is so huge. It spans across not only doing direct service, it also spans across policy making, advocacy, and all so many domains like education, healthcare, livelihoods, women empowerment, and sanitation, drinking water, healthcare. Almost everything you touch and has an impact on your life, this sector also does it,
Yeah.
and at large scale and in remote places. So what the government should be doing, actually, some of the places the NGOs are forced to do because their services don't reach the last mile.
Yeah.
So there's a huge opportunity for both training and also learning. And there are volunteering opportunities where some of the corporate executives, including coaches and trainers, can go and spend time in the project sites of NGOs and come back definitely a better person, that I can guarantee you, and also with lots more of empathy. And you would have also contributed whatever skills and knowledge
Yes.
you have to an audience who is very willing to receive that.
Yes. Thank you for that. I mean, it was a really good question. I think because we have so much to learn from these people as well. I mean, we may be giving them our services if we go as coaches or consultants or as people to offer our services. But there's so many qualities that they have that we can learn from them. So it's always a give and take. And I think, like you said, I think we could become better people because we can learn empathy, compassion, sympathy, and those qualities which a lot of us in the urban atmosphere, in the urban setting, a lot of us have forgotten those, or we have to make an effort to practice those, and those are actually genuine, they're genuine tools which can help us navigate difficult situations, especially when we cross difficult terrain in our lives, health wise, personally, relationship wise. I think those kind of tools really help us to have our emotional intelligence around us heightened so that we can help ourselves and people around us. So,
Yes.
yeah.
You have hit it on the head, absolutely, because for one, the amount of happiness that people with least resources have is amazing. When you see rich people unhappy with everything in the world, you go to a poor slum or a hut, even if they have only one meal a day, if the neighbor falls sick, they will share that meal with them.
Yeah.
Or their meager savings, they will help to take them to the hospital. That sort of generosity and willingness of heart and very simple mindsets. They're wonderful people. You will never find people like that. Whereas some of those human qualities we lose in our day-to-day, struggle or race for corporate career or something else, or we want to excel at somebody else's cost, or we want to win a game. We think it's a unified game. So it's really not necessary. All of us can be happy in our own ways with what comes to us on a day-to-day basis,
Yes.
and we can help each other, collaborate with each other, and also create a world where there is far more contentment and happiness and good health rather than unnecessary competition. So this is time to collaborate, not to compete at all.
Thank you. That's so well put. Time to collaborate and not to compete. So Geeta has a question. She says there are so many young professionals who transition quite early in their careers to the social sector. What is your message for them, as well as the learning skills they need to be prepared with and to continue learning?
Yeah, see, there are many people, as I said, most of us have that calling within us. At some stage, we want to serve others. We may be already doing it while we are working, or as a child, we have done some amount of social work. Our parents took us to project sites or whatever. But in many people of late, I'm seeing last 10 years, there are very bright corporate executives who are leaving the corporate field and voluntarily joining or looking for opportunities in the social sector. And they're willing to give up some of their material gains or attachment towards status or titles or whatever. So that's a very good sign. And if they have come to the sector out of their own volition, I'm sure they'll be an outstanding success because they have seen the one world. They're going to see another world which is very different in life perspectives. So for them, very little external training is required. But what they may want training in, they already have the corporate skills. They also are good communicators, etc. They can also bring a lot of their networks for helping them in the social sector. But what they may need is sort of bringing the community together, communicating in languages which you are not familiar with, sense of empathy that may be required, and good project management skills to ensure that what they have learned and practiced in corporate sector, they are able to instantly bring for instant benefits of scale or better efficiencies in the social sector.
Thank you
And
so
one thing
much.
I can promise you, you will meet some very good-hearted, wonderful people in the sector. There are plenty of them. And you will rub shoulders with some of the leaders in their own domains, many Max Assay Award winners. These are all people with great hearts, and they have found their calling in life quite early and have done wonderful work.
Yeah. Tarun is asking a question. Do you think informal, but customized humane ways of coaching for soft skills is more likely workable instead of a structured formal way for trying to coach stakeholders in the social sector?
Yeah, in the social sector, informality is a great advantage, and you cannot bring rigid structures into outcomes that you want. So probably because many a time there are other facets in these people which they may not have been exposed to. So some of the structured course material we use in corporate life may not be quite relevant. You may have to tweak it to the target audience and the way they do their work exercises or group interaction, etc. So I would always recommend informal training setups, and informal content can be structured, but how you roll it out and how you experiment with different people on the same content or variations of that content. We should be, as trainers, we should be open. And it's fun again. There are many trainers who are very comfortable in even very informal settings. We have Paul Matthew in the audience. He's
Yes.
a great example of it. Corporate theater, which is, he will break every barrier possible with even people coming with a lot of unnecessary baggage with them.
Yes, absolutely. And Paul himself is an artist. He's an actor. Yeah. And it was in corporate for a long time. And so I've heard his story to another very inspirational person who's on this call. And for those of you who want to know a little bit more about Mr. Verghese, Reggie has written a long text over here. So you can read a little bit more about Mr. Verghese and why we are, why I think he has completely put aside his troubles, his hurdles, his what people would call problems on a personal, level. And he has literally gone way out of his comfort zone to serve others. A lot of us do many things, a lot of us do small things, but what he's doing is extremely extraordinary. And that's why I think the message that Reggie Verghese has put is really, really relevant. And Paul, thank you for your message. Paul said that he knows you for around 40 years, but in this last 40 minutes, he has learned so much more about you, and he wanted to thank you also. So you've answered almost all my questions, and it's time for my last question, which is, a very, very simple question. And my question to you is, Mr. Verghese, what gives you joy?
Oh, you're asking me to define my life philosophy. Very simple. What gives me joy is when I find joy in others' faces. People who I am able to help out, including my family, friends, anyone where my social work or my team social work or my organization social work has impacted. And if they are smiling, I am most joyful.
Thank you so much. And what do you think about the future in terms of your involvement with NGOs, with the Bairaju Foundation? Uh, what do you think the future holds for you? Is it really critical, to integrate technology with sustainability of social initiative in your mind?
See, there's a lot more that the NGO sector in the country can transform into and also contribute. About the contribution, I already said earlier, many more developmental areas which the government is not able to address or to hasten poverty eradication, etc. NGOs can play a very sizable role and a meaningful role. In terms of applying the best practices from technology and management practices is a much faster way of, in my view, of increasing scale and eradicating poverty than just giving money in the hands of people. So we can speed up poverty alleviation by bringing technology in a big way. So traditionally, the social sector used to focus only on economic sustainability.
Yeah.
As long as you have money,
Yes.
the project will run, and as long as the money dries out, the project ends, and the organization also probably withers away. So
Yes.
it was all about collecting donor money and then spending on projects. But then, as the sector evolved, people realized there is a social sustainability and environmental sustainability. Social sustainability is about you have to first, before breaking even or spending your money most wisely, you have to get acceptance of the society or the people among whom you're going to work. They have to accept you as a person. They have to mean well. They have to be convinced that what you're doing for them is good for them in the long run as well as the short term. And they should welcome you with open arms when you're going there to do service. So that is the social sustainability. And we have focused a lot on that because unless the villagers accept us and we are
Yeah.
part of them, there's no point in going there because you will only have hostility. Or if the village is already divided by religious divides or political divides or gender divides or whatever, then again there are huge amount of divisiveness and barriers you're trying to overcome, which is not really worth it. So you have to first break those divisive barriers. The third aspect is the environmental sustainability, which is again, every NGO which is working in modern times should accept it as a credo. It is the part of the, triple bottom line and all that. So you cannot degrade the environment in which you are going to do your project. You have to leave it a better place, both in terms of pollution, greenery, uh, green sustainability, all that thing. Now, the fourth element we are trying to introduce is the digital transformation part of it. So, first is economic transformation, social transformation, and environment transformation. To that, if you add a fourth leg of development, which is digital transformation, because today what's happening in our country is the connectivity has become very good. Most of the
Yeah.
rural people are even having smartphones. So that is a bridge which we can use. And once satellite communication comes in, even remote areas or tribal areas up the hills can all be addressed using such technology advancement. Then our pace of poverty eradication and development in this country will be much more. So this is my belief. There's a lot more. If all the four legs of development or transformation start firing together, then the synergy that we'll generate is 10 times more than the sum of its, individual
Yeah,
contribution.
parts, yeah. Thank you so much for explaining that so eloquently. There have been a couple of requests. I mean, I really want to let you go because I know it's past time and you must be tired. But I just have one more question because a lot of people have been putting in the chat. Please request Mr. Verghese to share the support that he's received from his family, even more inspiring.
Tremendous support. One, I was born into a uh, very good family, very loving parents. So initial years were very joyful. Then, as I got married, I have my wife Sunita and my only daughter Roshni. She's based in the US. Both of them have been great pillars of support. And whenever I've had a medical setback or a challenge, which has been, I've had 6 lives so far, 2 kidney failures, 2 heart failures, couple of sepsis, hospitalization in the ICU. Everything I have survived, and it's thanks to the great support by both Sunita and Roshan. And they give me a reason to live longer. Not that I want to hang on, unhealthy, but as long as I'm healthy, that's a great motivation.
I met Sunita very briefly just before the call. You introduced me to her, and I must say that she's really like her energy is so amazing, and she's got such a great smile. And I can see somebody said something about Sunita. Sunita and Roshni are the two indomitable individuals who walk the way with him. So much respect for Sunita. Somebody else, Sunita, said his wife Sunita is a real angel. So I think, I think I read it right because the first word that came to me was angel, but I thought, maybe I shouldn't say that word. But when I saw her, she seemed to be, really extraordinary. And
I have a guardian angel with me all the time. That
yeah.
has substantially increased my chances of coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we're so glad that you have 6 lives, and we're hoping that you have more than 6 lives because just in this last 1 hour, you've enriched us immensely. I've had many guests before, and with all due respect to everybody, I must say that I've never seen so many emojis of different kinds coming in terms of support for you and lots of chats. I don't want to read all of them because it might take another 15 minutes, but so much of support and not just support, but so much of awe and gratitude. I think gratitude is the right word that's coming in for you for being inspirational and for being the person that you are. So I want to thank Reggie for allowing me to, and for suggesting that I contact you to do this podcast because I knew, and of course, he very well knew that you would be the right fit for our community because of the amazing heart that you have, and with the skills and with life skills and with your mission to serve. So thank you so much, Mr. Verghese, for being with me here and being with our community. And we all wish you, I think I speak for everybody here, we all wish you with so much of good health, well-being, happiness, and joy, and with continued success to enriching the lives of all the people you touch, especially the underprivileged people and in the rural sectors who really need a guardian angel like you. So Kiva, I will give you the honors to close this. And if Mr. Verghese wants to say something before you take over, I would hand the stage to Mr. Verghese now.
Thank you, Avril, for all the kind words. You've been a wonderful interviewer, because the type of questions you ask went beyond many of the aspects that I was readily willing to talk, and you put me at ease and also opened up some vistas of my life, which probably very few know. Thank you very much for that. Wonderful job there.
You're most welcome. I had a lot of help from my fellow coaches and Kiva.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And also, gratitude, as I said, there are 3 things which are important. Gratitude is, be thankful for everything that comes your way. Count all your blessings. Second is attitude. The very same thing, illness can be, you can look at it completely negatively, what I explained earlier, or anything that comes in your life. If you are dissatisfied, unhappy, these are all negative sentiments, or you are unhappy with the person. So that actually ultimately affects you. It doesn't affect anyone else, and people don't
Absolutely.
realize that. And the third is the fortitude part, which is the courage, which comes out of necessity. When you're on the edge, you need to have the courage, and you
Yeah.
can't. You have to willingly take the risks that you take, and not be afraid. And then most of the people are afraid, as I said, of dying, or dying early, or dying when they don't want to. And none of us want to go without kicking and screaming. So,
Yeah.
so the point is, accept it first, and then your life is very peaceful, and be ready to go any moment. And every day you get is a bonus in life. Treat it that way. Thank
Thank
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Verghese, for this wonderful webinar. I think we are all leaving feeling extremely inspired and with so many valuable lessons that you've shared. As you can see, our entire chat box is buzzing with so many comments from all our viewers today.
Absolutely.
And like Avril said, a lot of emojis coming in for you. Thank you so much for all that you've shared with us today. And I think I'm going to steal something that one of the participants, I think Paul Matthew wrote, which is the world is a better place when there are people like you in it. So we're glad that we had this experience of the webinar with you today. And thank you so much, Avril, for hosting the webinar. And as always, it was a wonderful webinar. Thank you so much, Mr. Verghese. Thank you,
Thank you.
Avril.
And
Thanks.
thank you to all the coaches and to all our fraternity who's joined, and to all the guests and all of Mr. Verghese's friends, and of course, Kiva, for holding fort for Coacharya. Thank you. God
Thank
bless.
you so
Good night.
much.
God
Thank you,
bless.
everyone. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
joining us. We'll see
Bye.
you next Wednesday. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.